If you are wondering how Boruto's personality ended up the way it is now in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, then this video is for you. The way people grow up has a huge impact on a person's character. In this video, I will explain the emotional situations that affected Boruto during his childhood, which shaped the personality he has today in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. If you look at Boruto's childhood, you'll notice that he felt Naruto didn't give him the physical and emotional attention a father is supposed to give. From Boruto's perspective, he would rather die than become Hokage because the responsibility of being Hokage had taken his father Naruto away from their family and stopped him from giving them the attention they needed. Boruto saw the role of Hokage as a burden that causes trouble for everyone around you. That's why he later advised Sarada to stay single if she wanted to become Hokage. Naruto became Hokage to protect everyone and bring peace so that no one will ever have to experience the painful past he had or the suffering caused by hatred and war in the shinobi world. But by doing this, Naruto took on more responsibility than he could handle, which meant he couldn't give his own family the time and attention they deserved. Hinata, Naruto's wife, tried to explain this to Boruto when he asked her why his father had to become Hokage. From Boruto's perspective, all Naruto did was sit at a desk and act important, and Boruto believed this was a job anyone could do. What Boruto was trying to say was that Naruto could have delegated some of his responsibilities so he had more time to spend with his family. Hinata didn't fully understand what Boruto was trying to say, but she still tried to help him see Naruto's side by telling him that being Hokage is a very difficult job and one that is vital to the village. It was also a role that has been passed down through generations. Boruto replied by saying that children of the Hokage are expected to be grateful just because they were born into the position. He then shared how he sees things by bringing up Naruto's own father, Minato, who was also Hokage, but Minato died when Naruto was just a child. From Boruto's understanding, this meant Naruto never got to experience how fun family life could be. And Boruto was right. Naruto grew up alone, so it made sense that he would not know how to act as a father, as he had never had one himself to learn from. Instead of truly recognizing Boruto's pain and perspective, Hinata indirectly dismissed his feelings. She told him that even though Naruto could not always be there for important family moments, things were still different for Boruto than they were for Naruto, because Boruto had a father who was alive. This whole conversation happened because Boruto was upset that Naruto had sent a shadow clone to Himawari's birthday party after promising he would come himself. When that shadow clone disappeared while holding the cake, it became clear to Boruto that Naruto had broken his promise and didn't see Himawari's birthday as important. What made it worse was that Boruto had done everything he could on missions to prove himself, hoping to get his father's attention and recognition. But none of it worked. He even went as far as using scientific ninja tool to boost his power in the Chunin exams, hoping to win and finally earn Naruto's recognition. But things didn't go as planned. Cheating was not allowed, so Naruto had to punish Boruto for using the scientific ninja tool and told him he was not worthy of being a shinobi. To Boruto, this was heartbreaking because everything he had done up to that point was all in the hope of making his father notice and be proud of him. From Boruto's actions and how he understands Naruto's childhood and the struggles Naruto faces in trying to be both Hokage and a father, it's clear that Boruto is a smart and deeply reflective person. Even though he seems outgoing and cheerful in public, when he's by himself, Boruto spends a lot of time thinking about his life, his relationships, and his role in the world. Boruto does not just accept things as they appear. He looks past Naruto's title and public image to understand who his father really is. He doesn't only see Naruto as the Hokage, but also judges him based on his actions as a father. Boruto sees through the mask of authority and importance to look at Naruto's emotional weaknesses. This shows that Boruto has emotional intelligence and is not easily fooled by what things look like on the surface. Boruto does not just react to things in the moment. He thinks about the bigger picture. Instead of only being angry at Naruto for missing Himawari's birthday, he thinks about the reasons why it keeps happening. He tries to understand the pressure of being Hokage, how Naruto grew up without a father, and how that might affect Naruto's ability to connect emotionally. This shows that Boruto can look beyond short-term feelings and try to understand the long-term truth, something that shows maturity beyond his age. Boruto clearly struggles with wanting recognition from Naruto. His strong need to prove himself, even by cheating in the Chunin exams, shows that his self-esteem is fragile. It comes from feeling emotionally ignored. But instead of becoming better, Boruto keeps thinking and learning. He learns from failure and slowly starts finding his own strength without taking shortcuts. This shows that even though he cares a lot about how others, especially his father, see him, he's also building a strong sense of who he is. Boruto has a serious and thoughtful side that not everyone sees. When he says he would rather die than become Hokage, it shows he thinks deeply about identity, responsibility, and meaning. This is not just a teenager rebellion, it shows that he's struggling with deep questions about life and legacy. He's asking questions most people don't ask until they're much older. Boruto chooses to hide his introverted and reflective side of his character by acting like an extrovert in public. Around others, Boruto often seems confident, loud, and happy. He acts like an outgoing person, but when he's alone, he spends a lot of time thinking about his feelings, life, and purpose. This isn't fake, it's a way for him to protect himself emotionally. Boruto uses this outgoing personality like a mask to hide his inner pain and to stop others from seeing him as weak or troubled. Now that you understand Boruto's childhood, let's look at how it shaped his choice to become a Shadow Hokage like Sasuke. Boruto felt let down by his father Naruto. Naruto didn't give enough attention to his family and struggled to balance being Hokage and being a father. Boruto also failed in his attempts to get his father's attention and recognition. This made Boruto, without realizing it, learn that he could only rely on himself. This belief came from the emotional neglect he experienced from his father as a child. Because of this, Boruto learned that he could not depend on others to make him feel seen or valued, so he had to depend on himself. That's why during missions with Team 7, Boruto often tried to do everything by himself. Sasuke then became the person Boruto truly looked up to, not because Sasuke was a hero in the spotlight, but because Sasuke was effective, independent, and stayed away from the shinobi system. Sasuke works alone, keeps his emotions to himself, and protects Konoha from the shadows without needing praise. Boruto admired this because it matched what he needed emotionally: distance, control, and freedom. So Boruto realized that he didn't need to be at the center of attention. He just needed to be strong enough to protect what matters on his own. That's why Boruto wants to become a shinobi like Sasuke. Boruto became self-reliant because he could not rely on his father, either emotionally or physically. His efforts to connect with his father failed, which led him to become emotionally independent. He saw that having power in public didn't mean being emotionally present in private. Because of this, Boruto decided to create his own identity, separate from what others expected of him. He chose quiet strength over public praise, just like his master Sasuke. In short, Boruto's childhood taught him that titles, status, and praise mean nothing if you lose the people you love. He doesn't want to be a leader on a pedestal. Instead, he wants to be someone who protects from the shadows, someone who's self-reliant, free from expectations, and emotionally aware. That's why Boruto chooses the path of the Shadow Hokage. He has turned pain into wisdom, reflection into clarity, and rejection into quiet strength. Now that you understand why Boruto wanted to become a Shadow Hokage like his master Sasuke, let's look at how the omnipotence ability helped Boruto drop his mask of being an extrovert and fully accept his true personality as a strategic, emotionally detached, rational, and deeply reflective introverted shinobi. After the omnipotence changed everyone's memories to see Boruto as Kawaki. Because of Kawaki's wish, Boruto was seen as a traitor who had caused the disappearance of Naruto, the Hokage and hero of the 4th Great Ninja War, and his wife Hinata. This meant that the entire shinobi world, including the people of Konoha, wanted to hunt him down and kill him. Instead of being angry at Kawaki, Boruto showed his introverted and thoughtful side when he reflected on his situation after Sasuke saved him and took him into hiding to train him. Boruto realized that the insecurity and loneliness he felt at that moment were exactly what Kawaki had lived with his entire life. Boruto came to see that Kawaki was his complete opposite and that he had made a big mistake by assuming that he truly understood Kawaki. This led Boruto to understand that what made Kawaki so angry was the fact that Boruto acted like he understood Kawaki's hardships, when in reality, he had no idea. Boruto realized that he was the one who had pushed Kawaki into this situation. He also recognized that Kawaki had his own sense of justice, shown by how he tried to fix the Momoshiki problem, even though it meant risking Naruto's hatred. Boruto admitted to himself that this situation was caused by his own weaknesses, and he could now clearly see that. So he made a promise not to let the situation between Kawaki and him end up in one brother killing the other. Instead, he wanted it to be just a fight between siblings. Boruto knew he had to get a lot stronger. During the time skip, Boruto learned a lot while being hunted as a rogue ninja and being personally trained by Sasuke in the ways of the Shadow Hokage. Sasuke is fully introverted, deeply reflective, and shaped by the childhood traumas that made him self-reliant. He chose to operate from the shadows to protect what mattered to him most. Sasuke passed on a lot of his knowledge, skills, and methods to Boruto. He taught him how to be a Shadow Hokage who's self-reliant and does not depend on others for missions or strength. This kind of shinobi works alone, trusting their own judgment, skills, and instincts. Such a shinobi may seem cold and distant, but that's because they've learned to control their emotions. Still, both Sasuke and Boruto care deeply about Konoha and the people they love. They just prefer to show that through actions and not words. Sasuke is an independent thinker who does not follow the shinobi system blindly. His independency allows him to make tough decisions from the shadows without being influenced by politics or public pressure. He helped develop this same quality in Boruto, who already showed signs of it in his childhood. Sasuke has always been a shinobi who sees the bigger picture and plans ahead. He's a strategic and analytical. He stays calm under pressure, thinks clearly, and acts with precision. These are the exact qualities he passed on to Boruto. This is why Boruto is the way he is now in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. During the time skip, he didn't just train his physical skills, he also trained his emotional and psychological skills. Boruto now shows self-reliance, discipline, and emotional strength and strategic thinking. The only difference between Sasuke and Boruto is that Boruto is an introvert who can act like an extrovert in public when needed as a mask, while Sasuke is fully introverted at all times.